Welcome to The Explainer. Ever wonder what makes a truly great public speaker? Well, today we're digging into a fascinating study on communication by looking at two of the most influential figures on the planet. And we're going to turn their very different styles into a practical guide that anyone can use to make a real impact.
Okay, so let's jump right in. We're looking at two leaders who, on the surface, couldn't be more different. On one hand, you've got Pope Benedict XVI, nicknamed the Pope of the Word. He's the scholar, the intellectual, known for his deep, carefully written texts. And on the other hand, his successor, Pope Francis, the Pope of Gestures, who is all about directness and action.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll break down each pope's unique style. Then, we're going to uncover some really surprising common ground between them. And we'll wrap it all up with a communication playbook, real lessons you can use no matter what you do.
Now, before we get into the specifics of each man's style, we need to understand the lens we're looking through. It's a field with a kind of technical name, but trust me, its ideas are at the very heart of what makes any speech effective, whether it's in a church or a conference room.
So, that word is homiletics. And don't let it intimidate you. Yeah, it has religious roots, but at the end of the day, it's really just the formal study of effective public speaking. It's about how you build and deliver a message that actually lands with an audience.
And the contrast between these two is just stark. Benedict's style is very Central European, very academic. He'd often read his texts, letting the words themselves do all the heavy lifting. But Francis? He has this vibrant Latin American approach. He's direct, he uses his hands, and he turns his speech into a conversation with the crowd.
All right, let's zoom in on our first case study and really see how Benedict XVI earned that reputation as a true master of the word.
You know, to really get Benedict, you have to understand his deep, personal love for liturgy and ceremony. You can feel it in this quote from his childhood. It wasn't just about rules for him. It was about the emotion, the atmosphere, the candlelight. And that feeling is the foundation for his entire style.
And all that passion, it flows right into a speaking style that's incredibly dense, but also crystal clear. His speeches are built like a fortress. They're grounded in scripture, they weave together logic and emotion seamlessly, and they are packed with vivid imagery. And the goal is always the same, to help people see something bigger, something timeless in their everyday lives.
What's so cool is how perfectly his method lines up with the three big appeals of rhetoric that Aristotle talked about thousands of years ago. I mean, look at this, he nails all three. He's got logos, the appeal to logic, with his airtight arguments. He's got pathos, the appeal to emotion that really moves you. And he has ethos, the appeal to credibility, just through who he is. It's a masterclass.
And please, don't make the mistake of thinking academic means boring. This guy was a master of the modern metaphor. I mean, think about it. Calling a sacrament nuclear fission, or prayer the motor of the world. Those aren't just clever phrases. They're brilliant tools to make ancient ideas feel totally immediate and powerful today.
Okay, time to switch gears. Let's talk about Pope Francis, a communicator who seems to be playing a completely different game. So if Benedict was all about the text and the beauty of the words, what's Francis's secret sauce? What's his big innovation that makes his style so different and, for so many people, so incredibly effective? Well, the answer is deceptively simple, but it changes everything. He takes the spotlight off the speaker and puts it squarely on the audience. For Francis, the whole point isn't to deliver a perfect speech, it's to make a real connection. The listener, the receiver, is all that matters.
He basically argues that if you really want to connect, you have to meet people where they are. You have to speak their mother tongue, and not just the language, but the culture. For him, a good speech should feel like listening to your favorite music, something that inspires you, not like you're trying to decipher a textbook.
And this right here, this is the heart of his philosophy. For Francis, a speech is a touchstone, a test of how connected a leader is to their community. And his ideal model for a speaker, it's not a professor. It's a mother talking to her child, warm, direct, simple, and totally focused on being understood.
So we've laid out these two very different styles, right? The scholar versus the pastor, the academic versus the conversationalist. But here's where it gets really interesting, because the source material points out a surprising common thread.
So even though they are, for all intents and purposes, stylistic opposites,
Deep down, they're united by the exact same goal. Both of them have this profound poetic sense, this deep belief in using beautiful, powerful language to make truth not just understandable, but attractive.
So you see, their styles aren't really in conflict at all. They're complementary. They're two sides of the same coin. Benedict focuses on the context of the message, the what, and Francis focuses on the receiver of the message, the who. You need both for a complete picture of great communication.
Okay, let's bring it all home. How do we turn all this insight into a practical playbook that any of us can use to be a better speaker?
First things first, a pretty serious warning from Pope Francis. He makes it absolutely clear that being a good communicator isn't just some natural gift. It's a responsibility. And if you don't prepare, he says you're not just being lazy, you're being dishonest and irresponsible. Wow.
So, drawing from the wisdom of both popes, here's the 5-step playbook. 1. Be brief. Respect people's time. 2. Use imagery. Help them see what you're saying. 3. Keep it simple and clear. Ditch the jargon. 4. Have a solid structure. Make sure your points connect. And 5. Be positive. Offer people hope, not just a list of problems. These are golden rules for anyone, anywhere.
And when you boil it all down, the secret recipe for a message that really sticks has 3 key ingredients. It has to connect with the brain, with one clear idea. It has to touch the heart with genuine emotion. And it has to capture the eye with a powerful image. The brain, the heart, and the eye. Get all 3, and you've got something special.
Which brings us to our final thought, a question for you to take with you. In your own life, when you communicate, are you more of a Benedict, obsessed with perfecting the word, or are you more of a Francis, totally focused on the gesture, on the audience? The big takeaway here is that true mastery isn't about choosing one. It's about finding the balance, because when you can do both, that's when you become a truly powerful and truly connected communicator.